Hello everyone, my name is Shen, and I have created a Refrigerator large language model chat system. So by using this system, it will help us to manage and store the food information. So in this project, I'll be using the Jupyter Notebook to help me to build up the Gen AI model. The model I'll be using is the Gemini 3.1 FlashLight. So inside this notebook, it will have 6 sections. The first one is setup, to set up the environments, build up the software development kit. Second is to create an example local database. Third one is to define the function of the database. Next one is to define the grounding function, so that the model can access to so the model can use the Google to access the latest information. And the next is the implementation to build up the model. And the last one is the example of the use case. Okay, so now I'll be start explaining my project. The first one is to set up. So I'll be uninstall the unused package and then install my required Google package. This few lines is to delete the caption models and force the Kaggle to load the version I want to load. Okay, so the result is okay, so install already. And now I'll be verified that it already installed into my notebook. So here's the version I want and all okay. And the next one is the function of automated retry in the API. So for example, if my API fails to connect, it will automatically retry again to check again does it release the connection error or something error. Okay, so now set up my API key. The API key I'll be using the Kaggle secret to store my API key. So it's in the add-on secrets. Yeah, my API key is stored in here. So to have an API key, you need to grab one from the AI Studio. And here's the API Studios and API keys, and here's the documents on how to grab the API key and how to use it. And then this line is select the notebooks to know where is my key. Okay, so I'll be going to the next section to create a local database. So now I'll create a new database and load the SQL. Inside my SQL, there is 2 tables. The first one is refrigerators table, and the next one is item table. Inside this refrigerator, there is fridge ID, the primary key, the first name of the user, last name, and the country of the user. In the items, there's the primary key and fridge ID, the foreign key, the item name, quantity of the item, the date I bought, the day it will expire, and the category of the item. So now I'll be loading some data into the database first. Okay, here I'll be defining my database function. There is 5 functions I have implemented. First one is to list out the tables, and second one is to get the tables scenario and to execute a query, inserting and delete. So the model can issue an query to ask the database to insert a new one or to delete the old one. Okay, so I'll be connecting my database, and here's the functions of the 5 functions. So here's the coding of the 5 functions I've listed just now. Okay, so I'll be going to next the grounding functions. Inside these grounding functions I'll be using the Gemini 2.5 Flash Yeah, because my 3.1 has already used up the quota, so I'll be using the 2.5. But it's the same function. Okay, so here's implementations. Here's the system prompts to give the background of to give a background to the model. And you have full chatbots, and here's the tools you can use. Here's the founding technique, and here's the example of view shop thing. So it's the example. First one example is you are the user Alice Smith. You ask about what do you have in the refrigerator. The second example is if you are Alicia and then you inform the system you have purchased these items, and the system will automatically help you to insert it in the database. The third example is as you are the user Alice, you say that your streams has already expired, and you ask the model to help you to remove from your database. Okay, so this line is to create the model. Okay, so here's the example of the use case. By sending the message, "Hi, I am Shen from Malaysia. Please help me register." And then the database, and then the model will list out the tables. What do I have in the tables, and the schema of the table, and tell us who wants to register a new user into the database. Okay, so here's the second example is I bought a Coke on yesterday and asked the model to add into the database. So you call execute and insert into the refrigerator. Okay, now here's the verifications. I executed the query. Yeah, the item has already inserted. And next one is to test the delete function. You say that it has been removed. And the last one is, oh, you have no items in your refrigerator. Okay, so that's all for my refrigerator chat system. And in the next video, I'll be creating a new agents based on this refrigerator LLM chat system. Okay, that's all. Thanks. Bye.